All right, we are back, and we got a fantastic guest with us. I'm going to call him the Godfather of Ink, Mr. Dennis Sidler. He owns Sid Graphs out of Chicago area. I'm going to give a big intro to this guy because it's important to know your background. So you've been in the autograph world since 1993. You started Sid Graphs in 2000, roughly,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of you and your business models, you went the opposite direction of everybody else in the hobby. We're going to hit on that. The hobby was chasing Hall of Famers, but you were betting on prospects, which I love. And you had a pretty big first client. I want to hear all about that because our rumor is he was pretty good. It turned out all right. But the work you've done with autographs has really made some of these like PSA and Beckett, change the way they do business, the COAs and all that. So we want to hear about that. But Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, I'm excited about this because we're primarily a trading card show. We talk about sports and trading cards. Autographs are a big piece of it. Everybody's always looking for the autograph. So we're definitely going to be picking your brain because you've been doing this for a while. So let's dive right into that because your story is you sold your card collection to go to college.
Yes.
So my first question is, does it still hurt to think about that? And what did you sell? Is there anything in that lot that you regret selling? Oh God, here we go.
Of course. But at the time it was, my parents were factory workers. So them paying for school, even at that time wasn't going to happen.
Wasn't in the cards. Yeah.
Yeah. No pun intended. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's stuff that I sold that I don't say regret because if I didn't sell them, I wouldn't have went to school. So, would I like to have some of those back? Sure. But, I had runs of 69, 70 basketball through 86, 87 basketball, some unopened boxes of 86, 87 basketball. We had some big hitters.
Wow.
Yep.
That's tough.
Well, onward and forward, right? Like just, it got you where you needed to be and
Exactly.
here you are now. So
that's right.
Exactly.
It was a means to today, but so you studied college. You studied in college, you graduated. My question is, how did you make this decision to go into autographs? Like, how was that something that registered? What was that moment?
It all correlates actually. My parents were Southsiders, from Chicago South Side, and I went to school I majored in economics and finance. I got a job in a bank and I hated every second of it. So I went into sales and my parents being Southsiders, they disliked all salespeople. They thought all of them were crooks. So they told me when I went into sales that I needed to start coming up with an idea of a fallback. And Sid's Graphs became
blue collar family. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you spoke some words there that everybody thinks. I mean, I know the corporate life. It's like, yeah. You hated every second of the banking, huh?
Oh, yes. So I sell children's toys for a living. I started that in 1998 and I started Sid's Graphs technically in 99, but our first sale came in 2000.
Man,
that's awesome.
And
all right. So
to this day, I do both still.
Oh, you do? You're still doing that? Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then, so talk to us about, how did this, your first deal, your first client in the autograph world in 2000, was it 2003? Was this when you signed him?
October 2003.
So if you can tell us the story, how'd that happen?
At the time I was a big collector. I was transitioning from cards to autographs. And when I would go to shows, I would go to every table and I would see Lou Brock, Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Fred Shandy's. Next table, Lou Brock, Ernie Banks, the same names over and over and over.
Right,
and over.
The Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, which is not bad, but I was like, I have got to come up with, can't sit next to these guys. And I call it the chase to zero. He sells it for $50. You put it for $49. He puts it for $48, just to chase to zero. I'm like, I got to come up with something unique that no one else has.
Right.
That's what I did. And my first autograph signing ever with a prospect was October 2003, and it was Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera.
It's a great first one to have right there.
Yeah. And how did that really? I mean, did you just run into him somewhere? Did you find him? Did you?
He actually played probably the year before, or maybe the end of the year prior to that. He played in King County, and I saw him play, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy is just crazy good. And then I was talking to someone and they're like, "Hey, I know his agent. Maybe you should try to do some." And I did the signing during the play. Cubs played the Marlins in the 2003 World Series, or sorry, in the playoffs to get to the World Series, and
Right.
that's when we did the signing.
So, and he was your first signing.
Mhm.
And I mean, so you have a knack for spotting prospects, clearly, because we're going to talk about in a second. But what, 7 straight
Well,
years, 8
wait.
straight?
First off, shout out to the Kane County Cougars. They never got enough love, but like I went to many of those games because I'm from the area growing up, and I just remembered it was always a fun time. So the fact that once again you're getting prospects through a system like that is shout out to the Kane County Cougars.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to pass
still.
over the Cougars.
I wish they still were affiliated.
Yeah, they're not anymore. I know
No.
it kind of blew my mind because when we came back for the card convention, the national last, I was like, we should totally hit up a game. And I was like reading up on, I'm like, when did they lose it? Oh, well, not
Wait a
being
minute, where did they
affiliated.
go?
No, they're still
They're
there.
like
They're just not affiliated with.
independent.
Yeah,
Oh, so they're just
When the minor
getting
leagues
players.
got readjusted, they were one of the teams that were canceled.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to pause real quick, Dennis. We've got another. I don't know if we need to kill your camera again and come back on.
Want me to do that?
Yeah, if you could. I can't do it from the side, so if you can just kill your camera.
No, it's not. I have a full internet. Like my internet looks good on my end, but it's like your
it's
system is saying trying to reconnect, so it's not letting me. Oh, now it goes.
okay.
But it still says
we
trying
go.
to. Oh, we good?
Yeah, we're good now. Yep, we're good now. Okay, so you signed Miggy. At what point did you realize you were onto something with these the prospect idea?
Right then. It didn't take long, especially with them winning the World Series a couple weeks later. It was pretty instant reward. Yeah. So it was then it was just determined. Okay. I was just going to say that it was just determining who was next.
Okay, so who is next? Who is next after Miggy?
Well, actually, to back up on that, like when you have a signing like that with someone, even a prospect or Miggy in that case, like how much, like what are you getting signed? How much are you getting signed? Is it bats, balls, pictures?
So,
is it what's the plethora of what you're trying to use?
So
for
Miggy's
autographs?
Miggy was a lot easier than a typical prospect because he was already in the major leagues. So you get licensed photos, check.
Right.
You get baseball cards, no problem. You can do jerseys, you could do helmets. We did a signing last Friday with Carlos Lagrange, who's a Yankees top pitching prospect, and all you really can do is cards and baseballs. You don't know what number he's going to be in the major leagues.
Wow.
He doesn't have any licensed photos. So, but with Miguel, we did everything: bats, jerseys, helmets, photos. So that one's a lot easier, and it gets to spread your variety around.
How big of a piece of the collecting to the point about the different products are trading cards? Is it most of it, part of it?
Back
50%?
then, up until 2019, percentage wise, almost zero. Me and my son like sign cards.
No kidding.
So we would put sign cards down. The second the pandemic hit, it went to percentage wise at some like for a pitcher, sometimes it could be 60% of the signing now, maybe even a little higher.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
So the pandemic shifted your business too.
This was a signing we did a couple months ago. This is Aiden Miller. So it just depends. The younger they are, as long as they can get a Bowman first, that's the key.
Bowman first is the key. So how much prospecting do you do, and how do you do your prospecting?
That's a secret.
Okay, fair enough. You just watch a lot of baseball, or you?
No. It's a lot. As soon as baseball became analytics, I became analytics. So there's certain things I look for. There's my son's majoring in analytics. So if I keep this going, he can help me. There's certain things I look for, and then there's certain common sense things. I would see other people do prospects, and if a pitcher's not striking out someone at A ball, they're not going to strike out anybody in the major leagues. If a batter's it's just my easy, quick analysis. If a hitter's striking out a ton at A ball, he's going to strike out even more in the major leagues. So, I think at times, a lot throughout the years, we'll get emails from people saying anyone can do what you're doing, and I'm like, I don't have I don't disagree with you. Anyone can do what I'm doing, but you're still
Yeah.
what happened to us when you're building a company on prospects. You have to put $200,000-300,000 worth of stuff on a shelf and let it sit there and pray that those guys do well, because you're not flipping
Yeah.
prospect items. Does that make sense? Like, you do a prospect in
Yeah.
2004, he's not going to make the majors back then until 2007 if you're lucky, and then he has to produce. So
Right.
it's the long game. So now it's a little bit different. Now with the internet, not that there wasn't internet back then, but with all the prospect talk, and this has really grown in 20 years. 25 years. So now the prospects can sell a little bit quicker. And technically almost a lot of it quicker compared to back then. When I was first starting,
Yeah.
it was a tough go. But the one thing that has switched is a lot of people do this. They chase to get free autographs, and that I have to compete with that. And at times that gets tricky.
So the folks going to like spring training and all that.
Well,
Is that what you're talking about?
not the collectors, but the guys that are going there with 50 cards of the same player and a dozen balls. That's where it gets a little trickier.
Do players walk by guys like that because they know what the game is, and do they go right? I'm hoping they go right to the fans and with
I
a
think
kid with a ball.
I think the older the players get, sure. We'll get emails saying you ruined this player, you're paying him, so he's not signing now. We don't have to ruin him. The guys hounding him will ruin him. When the same
Yeah.
person's out there with 24 cards one day and 24 cards the next day, these guys aren't stupid. They can recognize you from yesterday, and so I think at the beginning the guys are less what's the word? They'll put up with it more, if that makes sense. And I think every month,
yeah,
every year that they get older,
they're more
they
tolerant
put
up
up with
front.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And as they get older, I
Yeah.
think they get tired of it.
Yeah, well, that's good that they're walking by those guys and going to the fans because that's, getting the kids autographs and all that. But let's talk about real quick, if we could, your relationship with Chris Sale. I thought this story is amazing. We'll put the link in the show description here, but New York Times covered the relationship you have with Chris Sale, and I think that's a story worth telling. You talk about how you met him and how that relationship evolved, and of course, share the story of how Chris stuck with you and when everybody wanted him, all the big names.
Yeah. So Chris and I first started in 2010. He was obviously a quick pitching prospect for the Sox. I think he only pitched less than 30 innings in the minors, and they called him up. Some things that people don't remember is he was called up as a reliever. So he has like 8 saves, maybe his first season. But we had him sign him to a 2-year deal, sign him to another 2-year deal, and at the end of that 2-year deal, we had a retail store, and he did a public signing there. And when he was done, I'm like, hey, this was our last signing. I really appreciate you sticking with us for the 4 years. And he's like, you don't want to work with me anymore? And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to work with you, but Fanatics takes a lot of our guys, which is a compliment to us, and which is fine. But
Sure.
they're a $4 billion company and I'm not. So I just said, you're going to end up at Fanatics, and just like everybody else. And he's like, do you want to work with me? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, my agent will call you in 10 minutes. He jumps in the car. 10 minutes later, his agent calls and he's like, Chris only wants to work with you. So we got to figure this out.
Love it.
And
It's awesome.
now
he was
we still work together. Like, he emailed me this past week. Him and his son collect a little bit. So he emailed me this week looking for if I could help him look for an item.
very cool. I love those kind of stories because then, now I'm going to go buy a Chris Sale card because I like stories. I'm the story guy. I like the story behind the card, behind the person.
He is
RJ,
the best
check it out.
human we've ever worked with. Hands down. Not close.
No kidding.
Yep.
Because that was my next question. Who's the best? So Chris Sale, there you go.
Not even close. But I mean, there's other guys that were good, but no one, like Chris Sale, literally gave up money to keep working with us. I mean, that's crazy.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It says a lot. Were you? Did you give him a hard time about the Red Sox and all that, and like where he was playing?
No. So this is how Chris Sale thinks. when he got traded to the Red Sox, I get a text saying we're gonna keep working together. We'll figure this out. He gets traded to the Braves. He's like, we're gonna figure this out. Don't worry about it. So like literally the day he's getting traded, he's like, I better text Dennis. Like, I'm telling you, some people would think I'm lying on how good a person he is, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear, though. I mean,
yeah, I think that shows both ways, right? It's the character on your side that you're a stand-up business person to work with for these signings and autograph sessions, but at the same time, on his side, it's like the loyalty, right? That's what you hope for. That's when sports, right? You want a guy to stay with your team the whole time, but unfortunately, it's a business and stuff's going to happen. But when they're still loyal and they are a stand-up guy like that, that's great.
Characters. Yeah, he placed value in your relationship beyond what Fanatics give him. So I love that. It's a really cool
and his
story.
two biggest,
definitely worth reading that article.
His two biggest career accomplishments: he won a World Series on a Sunday in 2016, and on Monday I got a call from his agent and said, hey, Chris wants you at his house in Boston on Wednesday to do a signing. So we overnight stuff, we get stuff printed, we get it there. We're at his house on the Wednesday after he threw a pitch in LA on Sunday night, the last pitch of the game. And then when he got his Cy Young award, he won the Cy Young in 2024, but you get the award in January of 25. So like last week, the guys that won it in 25 got it. And we were in New York doing a signing with him when he was going to get the Cy Young award that evening.
Oh man, very cool. Relationships, man. That's what everything's about. The hobby, business, life. I love it. So, all right, Dennis, we've got you here, and I've got to ask you because again, you are the Godfather of Ink, and you're gonna get yourself a T-shirt made with that.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna get some.
Listen, we're out in Arizona.
Family.
I'm telling you, man. Wait until you see the YouTube tile I'm coming up with for this one.
I mean, you might have to change it though, because now at this point it sounds like he is the scout for all of the other larger companies to be like, who's he prospecting? Because now we got to get that guy.
I know they're watching what Dennis is watching. They're like, wait a minute, we got to find.
I have a question then on because we've seen massive like card and autograph values like increase, right? Like Paul Skeens' autograph patch selling for millions of dollars. And Matt and I talk about this, or $1 million, 1.1 million. And Matt and I talk about this sometimes, but guys that are Hall of Fame, right? Like their autos can go for $400, $500, $600. Like, did you see it just kind of swing when it swung that way? Like to be really interesting to go, wow, this really came from like Hall of Famers and guys that like are legit players. Like it's really swung now on the prospecting side of like, this guy could be the next Randy Johnson, or this guy could be the next, like, did it kind of, in your business model too, did it kind of open your eyes to go like, wow, this really took a swing from Hall of Fame to just on the prospect side?
Yeah, right from the get-go, because, it comes down to supply and demand, right? Way back in 2003, when Miguel Cabrera wins the World Series 2 weeks after our signing, we're the only company in the country that has product. So you have that time frame before he's signing with another company with World Series balls and that, but we're the only company. We had in the past few years, we had Pete Crow Armstrong, and when you have Pete Crow Armstrong as a Cub doing what he's doing, I mean the sales are good, the pricing, the revenue's good, the prices are good. That being said, it offsets some of the guys that don't make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't going to ask you to talk about those that didn't make it, but I have to imagine that you would do some investing there, and then a guy doesn't pan out. And,
well, that's when my buddies
sitting on a product.
When my buddies come through the warehouse, they'll see the mistakes, and I'm like, listen, all the good guys are sold. Like, you're seeing the guys we did because they're still here, but all we did Verlander's first signing, and he's only done maybe one or two signings since in his entire career. He's one of the toughest autographs in the major leagues. But we did Posey's first signing, so we did and those guys, and then we did some guys that trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name. Chamberlain. He was like a relief pitcher for the Yankees. what was it?
Or
Yeah.
Joba?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Joba.
Joba
Joba.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah, Joba Chamberlain.
Joba Chamberlain. Yeah.
Yeah, we had him when we did him at spring training. He got called up maybe in May or June that year. It was insane, crazy, and you wouldn't even like thinking back on it. That was one of our fastest sellouts that we ever had, and we've done all these guys, and Chamberlain would be one of the fastest sellouts.
Damn Yankees.
I
Yep.
mean, he's the one that had the fly game in Cleveland. All those gnats
Oh,
came
all
out of
those-
everywhere,
yeah,
and because
yeah.
of that, yeah. And then he ended up giving up like 3 runs, and they lost the game, and then they didn't progress on. I was crying that day. But
So you've had a pretty significant impact on the trading card hobby. I mean, let's talk about what PSA, the changes they made, PSA, Beckett, and JSA, and some of the others because of what you were doing.
Yeah, for a time we did, and now it's regressed a little bit. But for a good part, anytime anyone sees like a Beckett rookie COA or a Beckett rookie hologram or a PSA, we followed a lot of the big shots at Beckett. The authenticators are from Chicago, so I've known them since before they were authenticators. So they started at PSA. They went from PSA to Beckett. PSA started with a rookie COA because we were doing so many rookies. They would put that onto those holograms, and well, back then it was stickers and COAs onto our items. Then they switched to Beckett. They brought it to Beckett, but now that's Witness. Witness COAs have taken off so much that we pretty much get everything witnessed now. Because at the end of the day, a witness isn't an opinion; it's witnessed. Everything else is technically an opinion. So
right.
But yes, anytime they see the rookies, it was because of Sid's Graphs really brought the rookie COA and hologram.
No kidding. Look at that, man. Tell me you're not the godfather of this. Come on. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Hey, listen. Let me
he's so
ask you.
humble. Look at this. This is why Chris Sale calls him like every other week.
I know,
saying,
right?
like, hey, this is like he's like, no, it's just nothing. It's just a side.
It's nothing.
It's a side hobby. Yeah.
Right.
So Sid, tell me this, because RJ, this will be a little bit of, I don't know, say triggering thing for him, but what's your opinion, if you have one, on, we're going to talk trading cards specifically here, on card auto versus sticker auto?
Never.
Tell me what your thought is.
Never a sticker.
Never a sticker. Well, and why is that?
a few things. Typically, the cards are signed in front of someone. Typically,
Right.
The stickers aren't always signed in front of anyone. But I just think that the stickers, I don't know. It's just my opinion, because the card really isn't signed. If I peeled that sticker off, you'd have a blank card.
Yeah. And I think that's what RJ, that's your whole thing.
Yeah, they're
is.
touching the card, they're holding the card, they're having an
Yeah.
interaction with the card. It becomes part of the story, right? Of that
I
card.
couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the sticker, right? Yeah, it's a sheet, and they're just putting it anywhere, and especially if the guy that's putting it on puts it on crooked, you're like, but
The stickers are
it's
brilliant
so
by
much.
the card companies, though, because they'll pay these guys $1 a sticker when they're 18 years old, and then when they're winning MVPs at 27 years old, they're still putting those stickers on those, that year's card.
They pull them out of the drawer and say, this guy's having a comeback year. Hold on a second.
100%.
Think about Ryan Sandberg, right? Like Ryan
Oh.
Sandberg, he had a bunch of sticker autos for like what the last Topps Chrome Legends inserts. Like they probably still have a whole bunch of his sticker autos lying
100%.
around, and we'll see him for the next 10 years.
Yep, guaranteed.
That's wild. Just wild. Oh, man. All right. So now I'm going to ask you about pens. I was going to get to this earlier, but you're the ink guy, the godfather of ink. Spring training's about to start. We're in Arizona. Everybody's going to be out, chasing autographs of up-and-comers, the legends, whatever. Do you have a tip for these guys
Sure.
on what pen to use? Do we use a ballpoint pen? Do we use a Sharpie, the Pilot? I mean, I have a bunch over here. I'm not going to make a fool of myself.
Anything with a baseball,
What do you
I'd use anything on a baseball, I would use a Zebra ballpoint pen. They used to be a little bit tougher to find. I think we were just like in a Walgreens, and they even sell them in Walgreens now. Blue ink, I wouldn't do black, only blue ink. Cards have gotten if I had a 12-year-old, I'd give him a blue Sharpie and just go to town. If I had someone that was super into it, maybe use a paint pen every once in a while. But I'm sort of old school. I try to stick with a blue Sharpie as much as I can. The younger the child, I would stick with blue Sharpie. If you're
Okay.
getting old enough to get a little more, and the reason why it's less messy, it's less everything. If you're a little bit older and you can try it, I would do I would every once in a while try a paint pen, either a Deco paint pen or I think it's Modelo. It's hard to say, but Modolow,
Okay.
as a paint pen. Sometimes they pop. Let's see if I have any here. Sometimes they don't. So here's like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it.
No, it's all right though. But we can throw up some pictures when we do the editing. But yeah, let me ask you: do the players know when you hand them a pen? Okay, this guy knows what's up. Do they like?
The second you hand them a paint pen, they're gonna know that you're a little more than average.
So do they take their time? They're like, oh, okay.
Or they may skip you because they're like, what is he doing with that?
Didn't think about that. All right.
Another reason why the Sharpie just as good.
The Sharpie's just as good. Yeah, I mean, we've all seen it. Those you hit an auto in cards, and look, you could tell the pen was dying, and you're like, man, that's
nothing worse.
That's not a good pen.
We go through a lot of pens because I am really picky. So, and
the second you think it's going to die, you're like, it's trash.
Garbage.
It could probably go for another half hour, but you called.
It could go for years for other people, but I'm done. The second it starts making a little streaks, new pen.
You're done. I love that though. I mean, hey, got a quality thing there. So,
yes.
RG, you had a couple questions you wanted to fire before we move on to the.
Yeah. So with all the signings you've done and cards and jerseys and all this stuff, like, what is the singular item that you're like craziest item that you ever had autographed, or you saw someone autographing and you're just like why are you autographing a toilet seat, right? If you're like a WWF play, like wrestler, and you're like, that's part of his shtick, right? Like, why, like, what is the craziest thing that you've seen an autograph that you've gotten either autographed or that you've seen an autograph come through on that you're like, how did this happen?
So the best thing I've seen get autographed is I went to a show and Muhammad Ali was there. And
yes,
I brought 2 gloves. In the first glove, he signed Muhammad Ali, and he had this female handler. And I asked her, I said, could Mr. Ali please sign the second glove, Cassius Clay? And she's like, you have to ask him. I'm like, oh, there's like sweat going down my back. And he would sign the gloves on his lap, so you couldn't see, if that makes sense. So I asked him, I'm like, Mr. Ali, could you sign this glove, Cassius Clay? And he put it on his lap, and I didn't know if I was getting Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay, and he put it on the table, and it was Cassius Clay.
Wow.
And,
nice. Awesome.
And then to go full circle, Chris Sale, maybe 3 years ago, said, I really need a Cassius Clay glove. So I gave him my Cassius Clay glove.
That's awesome.
Wow, man. That's pretty cool. Did he bat an eye?
What's that?
Well, did he bat an eye when you said Cassius Clay, or did you just take it and do it? I mean, I know you said
I didn't know if I was offending him, anything. So I just asked the question. I figured the worst he could say is no, but he just signed it and he was fine with it.
That's fantastic. And you said the craziest item was what?
I don't really have too much of a crazy, but like I had a customer when we had the store that he was a guitar player. So he would get everybody. Now, I shouldn't say everybody, but if we brought in a bigger name of a Chicago bigger name, he would have them sign his guitar.
Yeah.
So it was like it was a acoustic guitar, but it had dozens of Chicago Hall of Famers on it.
Now that guitar is going to be worth some cash here in a minute, right? Good for him. I know. I saw you had I don't know what I was watching, or as I was getting ready to talk to you, you had an Eddie Vedder picture when he threw out the first pitch. Up at Wrigley.
Yeah, I have that on my. I don't really actively collect, but my office wall has my favorite stuff. So I always was a Kerry Wood fan, and he threw the pitch to Kerry Wood, and I've never seen another one. But my photo has Vedder and Kerry Wood. You see Kerry Wood a lot, but you don't see the Vedder a lot. So
yeah, that's a cool piece. I saw that. Yeah, that's a very cool piece. All right, we're gonna do our little bottom of the ninth challenge. Are you ready for this, Dennis? Before we sign off, okay. don't disappoint, man. You got a lot of people to go back on here. So bottom of the ninth, your team's down by 3. You can have any four batters in any order you want. Who's up first?
Bonds.
Oh, you're leading off with
All
Bonds.
right.
That's a twist. All right.
I mean,
I want him to have as many at bats as possible. I'm
like
going
that.
old
Okay.
school. I'm going old school. I'll let the other people go new school, but I'm gonna go Ted Williams second, and then I'll go Hank Aaron and Willie Mays.
Man, that's quite the
Nice.
lineup.
Yeah.
That is quite the lineup. So we have Bonds, Ted Williams. Who's third? Who did you have third? And then
I'd
Mays?
go Hank Aaron and Willie Mays.
Yeah, I think with that lineup you'll come out on top.
You'll get your 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
after
think you'll be
thinking
all right.
about it, I would probably switch 2 and 3 just so we went lefty righty.
Okay. It's funny because typically we hear like the Ricky Hendersons of the world because you've got to get a guy on base and steal. You just
that's a
went
good
with
one,
the lumber. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
for sure.
Well, hey, Dennis, this has been fantastic. Really enjoyed talking to you. I hope we get you back on the show and great tips. Is there anything coming up for Sid's Graphs that we can shout out or talk about or, let everybody know?
We'll be
what's going
down
on?
in Scottsdale on a week from Saturday. We have Andy Pajas, the Dodgers center fielder.
Oh, there you go.
Colt Emerson, who's sneaking into some top 10s. He's a Seattle Mariner AAA.
Okay.
And we have a younger, he's going to be in AAA as well, Hector Rodriguez of the Reds.
Very cool. And
Nice.
you're at the card show. That's right. It's out here, right? Is
No,
that right?
no card show. It's just our signings.
Oh, it's just one of your
Oh,
signings.
nice. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was tied to that, but right on. Well, we'll put that into the show description. So if you're listening there, jump down, check it out. And like I said, Dennis, really appreciate it. Look forward to having you on the show again. And,
Anytime.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Breaks. We appreciate you being here with us and helping us grow this community. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Make sure to like, follow, or subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.